To determine the minimum size copper grounding conductor for a multi-section motor control center equipped with a 300 amp overcurrent device, refer to section 250.122d of the National Electrical Code. This section provides guidance on sizing equipment grounding conductors for motor circuits. The equipment grounding conductor ensures a low impedance path for fault current, facilitating the operation of the overcurrent protective device, such as a circuit breaker or fuse, and minimizing the risk of electrical shock. The size of the equipment grounding conductor is typically based on the rating of the overcurrent protective device protecting the circuit. Specifically, Section 250.122d addresses the sizing of equipment grounding conductors for motor circuits. It directs you to Table 250.122, which correlates the size of the overcurrent protective device with the minimum size of the equipment grounding conductor. In this case, with a 300 amp overcurrent device, you need to consult Table 250.122 to find the corresponding minimum size copper conductor. To use Table 250.122 effectively, locate the ampacity rating of the overcurrent device in the left-hand column. The table is typically organized with increasing ampacity ratings as you move down the column. Once you find the row corresponding to the 300 amp overcurrent device, read across the row to the column labeled Size of Equipment Grounding Conductor Copper. The value in that cell will indicate the minimum size copper conductor required for the equipment grounding conductor. For a 300 amp overcurrent device, Table 250.122 typically specifies a minimum size of number 4 American wire gauge copper conductor for the equipment grounding conductor. This number 4 American wire gauge conductor must be installed to effectively ground the multi-section motor control center. Keep in mind that this is the minimum size. There might be situations where a larger conductor is required. For example, if the conductors are run in parallel, the equipment grounding conductor must also be run in parallel, and each parallel conductor must be sized according to the portion of the total overcurrent protection device rating that it serves. Also, consider any applicable adjustments or corrections to the ampacity of the conductors due to ambient temperature or the number of conductors in a raceway. If these adjustments reduce the ampacity of the circuit conductors, you may need to increase the size of the equipment grounding conductor accordingly. It's always a good practice to consult with a qualified electrical engineer or inspector to ensure that the grounding system meets all applicable code requirements and provides adequate protection against electrical hazards. Proper grounding is critical for the safety of personnel and the reliable operation of electrical equipment. In summary, when sizing the equipment grounding conductor for motor control center with a 300 amp overcurrent device, always refer to the latest edition of the National Electrical Code and specifically Section 250.122d and Table 250.122. Verify the table to determine the minimum size copper conductor required, which is typically number 4 American wire gauge for a 300 amp overcurrent protection device. Ensure that the installation complies with all applicable codes and regulations to provide a safe and effective grounding system.